Hey everybody, how's it going? Today I want to share something with you which I really hope you're going to find beneficial. It's something which I sort of touched on before, heavily in fact, but it still has not gone in to my head, and probably not many other people's either, because it's a difficult concept to get your brain around. But hopefully with what I show you today, I'm going to be able to prove my concept, my thought process around it, and why I think everyone should be adopting this. Not everyone, 99% of people, there we go. What tiny percentage of all bike riders need to be truly skinny? Let's get a look at what I'm talking about. Here we go then, the very bottom of Rocky Lane. And it starts steep straight away, but it only gets worse. Past the car park, literally seconds into the effort. The worst thing here is that you sort of think, oh, I'm halfway up. Often, like the climbs where we live, the S-bends seem to happen halfway up them. But this one's different, it's not, it's probably a quarter of the way. And this is where the gradient genuinely starts to bite. Looking up into the distance there, it just rises. You have a brief lull now. Really, 25 meters, 20 meters at most, where it's a little bit more gentle up past Holiday Village. And then it ramps all the way to the top. So for a quick time, it's only here where you start trying. You have to accelerate all the way to the top. If you go too hard before here, it's just hell. There's no coming back from that, because we're only about halfway now. And the worst is this next section. You can see it ramps up around to the right and around to the left, and you have to maintain momentum up and around that left to get up and over onto the flat. So your effort genuinely needs to be paced quite well. Fantastic views though. If we look back over there, here we go. This is the bit that truly bites. Every part of you just wants it to be over now, but there's still, I don't know, a fifth of the climb to go, maybe even more, and then the final acceleration to the end. So 9 years ago, I did max efforts on that climb, 6 in a row, but the quantity of them is irrelevant because the first one I went so unbelievably hard. Honestly, I don't know that I've ever tried that hard at that time. I can remember it clearly actually, because it felt like my teeth were going to fall out. It was that bad. The sort of effort that feels like it's shortening your life expectancy, as with much of my training back then. Anyway, I was so convinced that I'd gone up there as fast as possible and that I'd never beat that time again, because it felt fast, it felt good. I knew I was going really well. It's 2013. I think the effort was almost 9 years to the day when I did it yesterday. I know for a fact, 4th of April 2013, a couple of weeks before one very, very hilly race, hilliest race in the UK that year actually. Here's a picture. And it was the sort of effort that was so hard, so fast, felt like I paced it really well. I just decided I was never going to beat it. There was no point in trying. I was light, somewhere between 72.7 74 kilos at the time, which is considerably lighter than my 78 to 80, 81 sometimes that I am now. But the effort was 100 watts less. So for 7 kilos gained and 100 watts gained, I've managed to go 3 seconds faster up the climb. I'm going to show you those two graphs next to each other on the screen right now. Leave them up for a little while so you can have a look at them. You can see the pacing's obviously a little bit different, but it's the same climb. The equipment's not a million miles apart. The bike's probably way about the same. Obviously the bike now is quite a different design to the aero bike with aluminium wheels that I had back then, rim brakes, things like that. So I don't think that's the difference. I'm fresher now. Back then I was on a training week, but it was a maximum PB effort at the time, so that kind of discounts the freshness. Motivation was huge. I used to dream that I could just jump anywhere I wanted to go in 2013. It's one of those where, a recurring dream that, it's one of those times in life where everything just feels effortless, and it's amazing, it's really special, it's an amazing experience. So motivation was not brought into question. Why did I go and do it yesterday? We've been talking about an Everesting at work, and I wanted to know how many laps of Rocky Lane I would need to complete in order to achieve an Everesting. Not that I'm into doing Everestings, not at all. In fact, it's one of the last things I want to do. 149 laps it would be, but you'd have to do the 150th to make sure. So I thought it'd be interesting to see what that climb is like, if anyone should want to do an Everesting on it, and all of the rest of it. And it's awful. It's the worst climb around. There are other climbs which look more dramatic. They might have signposts that make them sound worse. The one up the road at Blue Hills, for example. But it's not as relentless. It's Rocky Lane that really makes me fear it. Whereas Blue Hills is just another steep climb on the coast. It's not that special. It's a little bit shorter. It is steep, but only in places. It does ease off in different places. It's an interesting climb, but it's not Rocky Lane. Rocky Lane is the one that is worth getting excited about, in my head anyway. I'm sure it'll be different for other people. We all have our personal challenges as well. So, 9 years apart, 2 efforts, one pace slightly better, one with 9 years more experience. You learn a lot when you retire from racing. You distance yourself from the connection and of the importance. You start to analyze all the things you did in the past. One of the things is going hard without caring. Like if I got halfway up the climb yesterday, it didn't matter. I didn't have to do 5 more efforts afterwards. Also, my career doesn't depend on performing well, so it's really easy to try really very hard. And as silly as that sounds, when everything you do relies on how hard you can pedal a bicycle, in your mind at least, it's quite hard to really get the most out of yourself sometimes. That it's not a stress, but it's a slight burden that you carry, or that I carried anyway, which is quite interesting. So a lot of the efforts I do these days, I'm fresher. I don't have that attachment to it, so I can go barbarically deep and then sit in the ditch for as long as I like afterwards. It's fun, it's a challenge. There's a little bit of experience which goes towards the efforts, but the point is, I'm 7 kilos heavier, 7 kilos. It was 100 watts more, and it's 3 seconds faster. I think I actually did the full segment, the full timed effort, 10 seconds faster than I've ever done it before. There's 2 different efforts that I like to do there. One of them was a 90-second effort, one of them was a full climb. 10 seconds faster over the full climb, 100 watts extra, 7 kilos heavier. I weighed myself yesterday, I was 80 kilos yesterday. So the point of the video is, we've all focused on trying to be these lean racing machines, but unless we're dragging our backsides around mountains for 3 weeks a year, in Tour de France's and Vueltas, which thank goodness I never had to do, you don't need to be that skinny. All you're going to do is just fry your potential to perform well, to feel energized, to look after your bone health and your immune system and other things like that. You'll run yourself into the ground if all you're trying to do is lose weight. And also, you'll start eating away at your potential. You need to fuel those efforts. You need to eat before you go training. You need to eat before you do intervals. You need to eat when you come back. You need to make sure that you're looking after your body and fueling it as well as possible. I was thinking about this earlier in the kitchen at home. It's not the best analogy. I've never driven my family car and thought to myself, oh, if it was a little bit lighter. I've never thought to myself, or if I take the back seats out, or if I remove all the stuff from the boot, which we like to drag around because that's what people do, right? I've never thought that would make it faster, but yet I've often thought, oh, I wish I could take it to a rolling road and have it remapped, something like that. It's not the best analogy because it's not that easy to remap ourselves. We're not machines, we are human. It takes a long time to effectively remap our little engines. But that is more beneficial. It's never going to be detrimental to have more power, but yeah, it will be detrimental to lose weight and to rob yourself of your peak sprint power, of that good bone health and all those other aforementioned things, energy levels. Have you ever noticed riders that try to lose weight, they all of a sudden lose their sprint? It's the first thing to go, always. And then people start accusing them, oh, they're training wrong. But no, they've just lost that little bit too much weight, and all of a sudden they've lost their zip and their aggression. It's such a waste of all your training hours if you're not fueling properly. We need to add one little bit of context to this whole thing. If you're going to model yourself on the world's top athletes, people who are on the edge of human performance, you're only going to disappoint yourself. Some of these people are genetic freaks, like they're just born in a way they can process more oxygen than everyone else at a lower body fat percentage. Not everyone is built equally. You have to do what's right for you. It's all very well wanting to lose a little bit of weight, but chasing a goal that isn't realistic or beneficial to your performance, it's not worth your while. So please, I'm going to try and remember that, and I think most people would benefit from doing the same. Who's this video targeted towards? Probably me. 10 years ago, 9 years ago, when I used to think, oh, you have to be lean, you have to be lightweight, and whilst it feels amazing and you can go fast at different times, it's better to be that little bit heavier, be more resilient, have more grunt, have more residual power left over all of the time. Yeah, sure, you'll need more energy, so then you have to eat more and you have to fuel that bigger engine more, but it is really beneficial. I wish I'd learned that a long time ago. That's a lot of waffle, isn't it? Morning. Morning. Caught talking to myself. Don't know if I should be embarrassed about that or not. Right, it's Saturday morning. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. We're going for a walk on the beach. There's going to be more of this coming. Things that I learnt along the way that I wish I'd learnt sooner. I can't believe how nice it is here today. It's actually really still. Normally you can hear howling winds and all the rest of it, but actually today it's really, really still. If I stop what am I doing? If I stop tiptoeing, tap dancing all around, you'll hear it even better. It's taken 40 minutes to get here. Rocky Lane, absolute beautiful climb. If you're in Cornwall ever, come to this part of Cornwall. It's a lovely little village, some nice cafes, nice places to eat, the best beaches around just because they're rugged and beautiful. The coastal walks are amazing, and you'll see what it is that I've been waffling on about for the last 10 minutes. 2 weeks time, the video probably won't go out in 2 weeks time, maybe 3 weeks time. I'm going to reunite myself with a machine that I never thought I'd see again. So that's going to be good fun. I'm going to leave that ambiguous statement there, and I'll thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video soon.